What's up, everybody? This is Pompano Joe, everyone's homie, and you're listening to the WrestleHorror podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WrestleHorror. Greetings, viewers and listeners. Meathook Jim here, the WrestleHorror podcast. With me, as always, my co-host, Donnie Hoover. Donnie, you got to replace the Pennywise with Jason. I'm just...
I know. If you can get a lead on one, let me know. I'm definitely looking. As soon as I get a 6-foot animatronic Jason, Pennywise is gone.
You're going to put Pennywise in Haley's room then, right?
Yeah. Good. I might take him to work. I don't know. Have some fun with him at work. That'd be good.
Joining us this week on WrestleHorror is everybody's homie, Pompano Joe. Joe, how are you doing this evening, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. You know, you have become quite the fan favorite at FGW recently.
I appreciate it. I work hard. I have fun out there.
You know, and you know, we got one guy in the audience who's always going, "Let's go, Pompano."
I hear that out of the corner of my ear. I hear it. I know exactly what you're talking about now. You say that.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the beginning. First of all, how did you come up with the name Pompano Joe?
Well, it was a name given to me by my trainer, Roger Ruffin. I started 20 years ago at Bone Crushers in the NWF. It's a place I still compete at, and I help coach there a couple days a week. I still wrestle there. It's been a long journey, but it's the name came from when I started early in my career. Roger gave it to me. It's actually a chain of restaurants down in the Florida area. So you can eat at one of my seafood restaurants if you like. But it's just the name just stuck with him, and you know, when we met, it kind of fit, you know, my kind of personality, and I took it over and ran with it from there.
Right on. And being that I grew up in the Florida area, I'm quite familiar with the restaurants, and I've spent quite a bit of time in Pompano Beach, Florida. So, you know, that's one of the things that really tickled me when I first saw you wrestle and I saw your gimmick. It's like, okay, I get it. So that's awesome. And you know, you've got such a following. I mean, you know, everybody's homie. It's a great catchphrase, and it seems to resonate with a lot of the fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an extension of my personality. I like to have fun. I like to party. I like to be friends with everybody. So it just kind of it steps over into the wrestling world and with all the fans, and I think it kind of shows through. So
20 years you've been wrestling, and you know, of course, Donnie and I are both familiar with Roger Ruffin and Bone Crushers. And you're a coach now, so I mean, how does that feel working with younger talent?
I mean, I enjoy it. That's why I do it. No one's forcing me to go out and help out the newer generation. I just love doing it. I love passing on my knowledge and just giving to and helping develop the up and coming talent, because you know, if we stop doing that, then those guys aren't gonna learn, or they're not gonna get as much from it. so it's all about just passing on to the newer generation, and just trying to, and also at the same time, it helps me improve myself. Sometimes explaining something helps me see something in a different point of view.
Okay. All right. And I've seen you wrestle at both NWF and FGW. So when it comes to FGW, since I'm more familiar with that, you've tagged with a lot of different talent. You've done some singles matches. And like I said earlier, you've really become the fan favorite there with your little catchphrases and your and the hand thing, the boom and all that stuff. Did that come in time, or is it something that you started out with?
Oh no, I mean it's all been a development over time. When it started, Pompano Joe was more of a beach bum, a fisherman. I still like to have fun and all that, but that really didn't shine all the way through yet. So I kind of moved from like a beach guy. Then I formed a team with longtime partner Jesse Hyde. We formed the Hippies, which we had a few year run. So that kind of, that's still, you can kind of see that in with Everyone's Homie as well. You can kind of see that come through. It's part of just having fun and just enjoying the moment out there. But I just picked things up over time, and eventually one day it was kind of, it was someone said you need something, you need that catchphrase, somebody like you, like who's better than Canyon, and it's kind of, and it developed into who's everyone's homie. So here we are now.
Well, you still definitely see some of that beach bum in the gimmick itself, and I appreciate that part of it, because you've got the look, definitely. I mean, if you bleached your hair blonde, you'd be perfect for the Pompano.
It might all fall out then.
Well, you know what? It's a lot easier to maintain when it's all out too. And just saying,
I don't do much here. I just let it go. I actually haven't had a haircut in 20 years.
Wow.
So he'd have to change his name to Meathook Joe after that.
Donnie, any questions for Joe?
Yeah. One thing we've talked about on a previous podcast that I want to touch on is when you guys were just talking about his character and his transformation of the character. I know with haunting, because we do, haunted houses and stuff as well. When you create a haunt character, your character, like every season, you try to transform it. It progresses, like its outfit gets more disheveled, or its makeup changes, or it looks like it's aging. You try to transform your character as time goes on. Do you feel like the Pompano Joe character is kind of doing that same thing? And I know you said you're picking up gimmicks and catchphrases and stuff like that as you go. But is it other things like the character itself is transforming and aging as time goes on? Does it seem to be like that's the case as well?
I think, everyone evolves and everyone kind of goes through those changes, but, there's not a specific path, but, I do see the evolution. You just kind of take what you like about, certain aspects and just kind of carry that over and add to it, and eventually you get that ultimate form.
Nice. Yeah, let's say I started back in '97 when I started training. So like I said, NWF and Roger Ruffin's been around for a while. And I kind of went there a couple of times back when Chris Harrison and Abyss and all those guys were coming up and working out and getting shows and all that and making names for themselves. When you started training, what's Roger? Because I'm into like the training stuff. That's stuff that interests me and fascinates me. What's Roger's training style like for the people out there? And how tough was it at NWF and his training school?
It's all about building you from the ground up. He likes to instill the idea of respecting the wrestling business right from the get-go. And it just kind of started from the ground level with lockups and some chain wrestling stuff, and we just kind of build from there. Everybody has their own pace. A lot of cardio is involved. Most of all, we gotta, if you're gonna be a wrestler, you gotta be in shape. And a lot of, when I'm sure almost 90% of wrestlers, when they walk through that door, day one of training, they weren't in shape.
Oh yeah.
So everyone needs some cardio, but it's about cardio and getting out those basics, and we build from there.
Cool.
But Roger also, he has a great mind for the business. So not only is it, he teaches you, the wrestling in the ring stuff, but a lot of like just psychological and like other aspects, like all aspects of the business other than just in the ring. So it's like an overall course of knowledge.
Right. Just like an A to Z.
No, he knows it all.
So working at Future Great with Cody Hawk and everything, have you noticed some differences between Roger's style and Cody's style? Oh
yeah, there's tons of differences. It's like if you think of it back in day, it's like WCW and WWF. It's different styles. One values certain aspects over others. Others, one has strengths over the other, like strengths and weaknesses. But that's like with everything. But I enjoy them both. I have fun, and I just love going out there and kicking butt for the fans.
Well, speaking from a fan's point of view, we can certainly appreciate that, and we're always cheering on Pompano Joe when we see him in the ring.
Well, I appreciate that. That's what gets me going. I just, like I said, I like to have fun, and if I'm the only one out there having fun, then that's no fun. The more that it's in there, like the more it eggs me on. So.
Mm-hmm. And so that kind of translates into what Donnie and I do during the Halloween season with haunted houses and stuff is, you feed off of the fans and, the pops you get for them and everything like that. We feed off people screaming and crying and running away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I'd probably be running away.
Well, I fed off of that in wrestling too. I'm not going to lie.
Well, yeah, Shank was, I don't know, what was Shank, Donnie?
A piece of shit. Pretty much.
Oh, yeah, I guess you can't mince more words than that, can you? But, we all work in our craft for whatever reactions we can get, good or bad, as long as you're getting some kind of reaction out of the crowd.
Right. I'm always under opinion. As long as we're getting a reaction out of the crowd, that's all that matters. I'm typically a good guy in that ring, but if there's somebody booing me, it doesn't bother me. You're just someone else making noise. You're adding to that. After all, you paid that money to enjoy yourself, and if you enjoy booing me, or if you enjoy cheering the bad guys, that doesn't bother me for the most part. As long as it's not overdone.
It made C no multimillionaire. so boo or cheer, doesn't matter. Who cares?
As long as you're getting some kind of reaction. I mean, I've been to wrestling shows in the past where people are just sitting there with their hands under their legs and they're not saying anything, and that's just kind of boring. And it doesn't do much for the talent because they're trying to really, really entertain these people, and when they're getting no reaction, it makes it hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cycle. It's a lot. It feels a lot tougher when it's in silence, rather than a full full house. It's a lot easier. You got your adrenaline going a little bit more when you got that full crowd. During the pandemic, I'm not sure, how some of these guys did it in those empty arena matches with no crowd. Those had to be really rough. I'm trying to think. I think I only did a couple of those empty arena. I didn't do too many, but there was guys doing those, on a weekly basis, having big matches. That'd be really hard, especially with no crowd.
All right. I'll be honest, I wouldn't want to do it.
That was a good segue, because that's actually where I was going with it is, watching some of the televised promotions like Impact with absolutely nobody in the arena. That's got to be more taxing on a wrestler than when they've got a crowd to feed off of.
Yeah, you're still, for the most part, it's the same. But yeah, you have that crowd there, that adrenaline's going. You can feed off them, and ultimately that's why we do this. We go out there to entertain, and if there's nobody that we're entertaining, then what's the point? But ultimately they are entertaining on a worldwide basis with the television product. But it doesn't have that same, like, you don't have that adrenaline rush. I don't think you would have that adrenaline rush the same adrenaline rush as you would off that live crowd.
Did 2020 take its toll on your fitness? Well, body slam the pandemic and get back in shape with WrestleFit. This innovative program combines all the fitness regimens you'll need to reach your goals. The WrestleFit workout will bring strength training, cardio, and the world of professional wrestling together in a fun, new, and exciting way. Have yourself a blast working out with dumbbells, kettlebells, slam balls, ropes, tires, and an 18-foot full-size wrestling ring. The WrestleFit workout isn't just for pro wrestlers. The WrestleFit workout is for everybody. At the Now Training Center, you can pursue your fitness goals and learn how to train like a professional wrestler without all the bumps, bruises, and slams with the WrestleFit workout. Go to www.newohiowrestling.com/training for more information, or stop by the Now Training Center at 625 Eastgate Parkway, Blacklick, Ohio, 43004, Unit 6137.
Yeah, and you'd also have to think about during that time where they were doing those no crowd shows, it really gave the wrestlers themselves a chance to shine for their promoters or their bosses or whatever. I don't need a crowd, or I do need a crowd. I'm going to work good, no matter what. So, and it was kind of you could have looked at it as a challenge, actually, to challenge yourself to work a solid, hard match, even with no crowd.
Yeah. And the ambience of the crowd totally adds to wrestling shows. It's
for sure
hard to, the crowd adds to it. If there's no crowd at all, and then it's only the hits and the sounds of the ring, like it's honestly it's a little more boring, rather than the crowd is to reacting.
Just like a glorified practice session.
A little exhibition.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed in an empty arena, or very, some of the shows I've been to were like half full, or, a quarter full. But when you've got those empty arena shows, and especially when you've got cameras on you, it's a little harder to call the spots.
Yeah, do what you got to do. Just go in there and give it to them.
Right.
Give them the business.
Yeah. Well, if you've worked with somebody enough, you really don't have to talk a lot. You can, what each other's going to do. But, I've seen times where, I could hear the talent calling spots where I normally wouldn't hear that because of the crowd noise going on around me.
Yeah. That microphone, it picks up everything, especially without that crowd. So.
Right. Mm-hmm. So a lot of challenges during the pandemic for everybody, pro wrestling notwithstanding, but, just you guys end up coming out better on the back end of it. And I'm glad to see full shows again. That's one of the big things for me, was to be able to see a full show. And speaking of full shows, tomorrow night, well, this will air on Monday, so it'll be after the fact, but tomorrow night, Origins 4.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a big show. It's 4 years in the making, 4-year anniversary. And it possibly might not be tomorrow night. It's there's a little bit of snow down here.
Yes.
I don't like to question. So since you said it was going to air next week, there's a possibility that it could be delayed till this Friday night. So we'll see about that. And, if not, that means it would have happened this past week, and something that everyone's looking forward to. It's like I said, 4-year anniversary. Everyone's looking to show out. It's the biggest show of the year. Hamilton, Ohio. There's a lot of big matches. I'm trying to think of some now. I know it is. It's like I'm blanking now.
Not you.
Tavia and Amos. We got Cody and Ryan Michaels.
Drew Skills and Matt Taylor.
Yeah. I'm not scheduled anything yet, but I'm ready for whatever comes my way. I'm ready to party.
Right on.
So there's some big matchups. I'm looking forward to it. Biggest show of the year for FGW.
Yep. I've been to every Origins except for the
if it already hasn't happened yet.
Right. Well, hopefully, I live in Hamilton myself. I'm like 10 minutes from the arena. So hopefully the weather is conducive, but the way it's looking, I don't know. It may be next Friday.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to say with this weather. Unpredictable.
Yes. So, unpredictable Ohio. That's why I miss Florida.
If I could pick your brain real quick, I like to do at least one thing every show where I try to pull out a gold nugget for some of the listeners that they may help them. So, and you say you're already, you've been training and stuff like that. So you got experience training and as being trained and everything in between. What is like one gold nugget that you've picked up along your career that you could share that would help somebody out there in the wrestling world if they're wanting to be a wrestler or they're currently a wrestler? Just something that you've picked up on that stayed with you for all your career.
I think it's just you just got to learn how to relax. I think a lot of wrestlers get into their own heads and overthink a lot of things. And if you just take a step back and relax and absorb everything, sometimes things are a little easier and a little more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Agree 100%. Very good. Yeah, so another thing, slow down. That's another form of relaxing. They get in there and get all jumpy and go 100 miles an hour. And it's like nobody just saw what you just did.
So let me ask you this, Joe. I know you said at the beginning here you weren't a huge horror fan, but any horror movies you've seen that you've liked?
I'm just traditional. I'm not even a big movie guy per se. So, wrestling's kept me busy for the last 20 years. So, I couldn't even tell you any regular movies, let alone the horror. So I would say I'm a traditional horror fan in a sense of, Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers, things like that.
Well, you just endeared yourself to Donnie.
Yeah.
Because he's a huge Jason fan.
Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah, he don't watch a lot of movies. He's too busy catching them Ohio River waves, Pompano Joe for crying out loud.
I think I'll stay out of that river.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to be down in the river there. But So have you actually ever been to Pompano Beach?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Just making sure.
Grew up there, man.
Done some surfing?
Oh, I'm more of a skateboard guy.
Skateboard, okay. No longboard or anything like that, huh?
No, no. But I gave that up when I started. Well, a little bit before I started wrestling. But I have it, and I get on it occasionally, but I can't go too hard because skateboarding is the harder you go, the harder you fall.
Right.
I mean, I guess you can say the same with wrestling, right?
Right.
But I just don't want to, risk, hurt myself trying to, nose slide this big old ledge, falling on my shoulder or something. I'd rather, I guess, have somebody slam me on my shoulder.
Yep.
At least that way, it's a little more controlled.
I mean, you never know. It just depends on who's slamming you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. Yeah, so not big on the horror, just the basic icon type guys.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of genre that you prefer for when you do get to watch it?
Like I said, I don't even really watch regular movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't tell you the last horror movie that I've watched.
Yeah, just whatever was on, huh? At the time.
It's been a few years, but I couldn't tell you the last movie I've watched as well.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. Staying away from TV ain't really a bad thing.
I just started watching my wrestling.
All right.
No, I was going to say wrestling takes up a lot of your time.
Right, and it's what I'll turn some old stuff on in the background, so I like to watch. I like a variety, so it's usually something from the 90s somewhere. I'll turn that on and have that on in the background or something.
All right. So were you a WCW or a WWF fan?
Growing up, I was a WWF fan, but now I'm watching more WCW 90s than WWF. I love some Bobby Eaton and Rock and Roll Express, and there's some gems from those early 90s WCW stuff. So you'll never know what you see.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was a WCW Georgia Championship guy, like Four Horsemen, all those guys, Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer, Bruiser Brody. Those are my guys.
That's what I grew up on too. I grew up in Florida, so it was Florida Championship Wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling, and then when WCW became what they were, I was always WCW, but I was always an NWA fan as opposed to a WWF fan. I've never been a fan of Vince McMahon, but some of his product was good in the 90s. But WCW has been my mainstay, and Sting has been one of my biggest favorites in all that time. Dusty Rhodes, and of course the Four Horsemen, Ric Flair. Love him or hate him, Ric Flair is probably the biggest. I think he's a bigger icon than Hulk Hogan, in my opinion. But that's just.
They're both a little bit influential, so we'll call it a tie.
Okay, I'll take that. But I think the figure 4 leg lock outdoes the big leg drop. Again, just my opinion. So, Donnie, why don't you ask Joe our question? I know it might be a little tough for him. I think he can come to this.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he can come up with something. So even though you're not a big fan of horror, we have this question that we drop on everybody, and it's there's no right or wrong answer. It's just we just like to get inside the heads of our guests and see how twisted they are and if they're as crazy as we are. So the question is, you are the main serial killer in your own horror film. What is your go-to kill?
Let's see. I don't know. I go to kill. Maybe I got a knife and I'm a little slasher, I guess, is kind of I don't know. I don't think I would have like a specialty kill. You know? I think
No finisher, huh?
Yeah, I get a big old butcher knife, and there you go. Boom.
Yeah, just butcher them up.
Yeah.
There you go. It works.
Big old knife will do that. No matter how you use it, right?
Or maybe, you know, since I'm everyone's homie, maybe I become their friend, and then I'll just drug them up or something, and then boom, there you go.
Give them some roofies, and then
there you go. Then serial killer, boom.
There you go.
And once again, never a duplicate answer. I love it.
Yeah, I've never heard the roofie thing, so yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, I didn't say that. You guys did. I said party. Party.
We're going to throw words in your mouth now, Joe. But so how can people find out more about you? Social media, Facebook, I know you've got. You got Twitter, Instagram, things like that, so people can find out more about everybody's homie, Pompano Joe?
Yeah, all of the above. Facebook and Twitter, it's at Pompano Joe. Instagram, it's Who's Everyone's Homie. You can stop by any of the shows. We got Origins this Friday night, or any other Friday night down the FGW in Hamilton. We have NWF. It's coming up. We have shows in Ludlow at the Ludlow Theater on Saturday, February 5th, and Mount Orb on the 19th, and then we're in Covington on the 26th. So we got a full month right there as well. So you can check me out at any of those shows.
You got a pretty busy schedule coming up.
Yeah, just a little bit. So, and if you want to make it more busier, just contact me, and we'll see what we can make happen.
Nudge, nudge, Donnie.
There you go. Never say never, you know how it is.
Yep. Well, so with that being said, Joe, thank you so much for coming on to WrestleHorror with us. We love having conversations, and this is no different. We like to learn about wrestlers. We like to learn about haunt people that we talk to. So once again, thanks so much for coming on the show. And check him out at Origins or any of the aforementioned shows. Go to his Instagram, go to his Twitter or Facebook, find out more about what Pompano Joe is doing next, and make sure you go out there and support him and let him know that you're a homie for him too.
Okay, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
With that being said, I'm Meathook Jim, along with Donnie Hoover and everybody's homie, Pompano Joe. We'll catch you on the next episode.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media outlets: Facebook.com/WrestleHorror, Instagram @WrestleHorror, Twitter @WrestleHorror, on YouTube at the WrestleHorror channel. And you can also find us on our website, www.WrestleHorror.com.